There he is.
Hey, how's it going? I'm so sorry. I had some bus issues.
All good, man. Just wanted to get back to Tim real quick, let him know you jumped on. Good to go. Want to rock and roll. Get into this tour, look back a little bit and look forward a little bit with you. But let's start with the tour, man. Eternal Tour coming to the House of Blues of Anaheim once again, bringing along Grey Haven, like Moth to Flames, and Silent Planet with you. Hell of a bill you put together for this one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to bring every metalcore band under the sun between our last tour and this one. So,
I really love Silent Planet and their latest album and what they're doing, and they're kind of local boys to that area. So it's going to be a big homecoming show for them.
yeah, they're great guys. We toured with them like years and years ago, and I think they were like maybe the first or second band on the bill. And it's really cool to see people like grow and like come into their own and be able to come back on a much higher slot and kill it every night. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think they've really come into their own on this last album and one of my favorite albums of last year. And I'm kind of curious for you guys. Are we looking at this as still part of the Color Decay touring cycle? Is this a greatest hits tour? How are we looking at that wise?
Oh my God. I think it's kind of all encompassing. We have our 20-year anniversary next year, and they were like, "Oh, you guys should do a 20-year anniversary tour." And I was like, "Oh, that's for like old people, man. Like, I don't feel old, we're releasing new music all the time, and people actually like it, which is kind of rare." So I was like, I think we should just do an eternal thing because it's like it's about the past, the present, and the future. A lot of bands they break up, they get burnt out, they come back. It's exhausting. So we're just like, bro, we never break up, we never go away. We're always here.
So Eternal will be in the set then, I imagine.
So it's basically all of our career from like the very first song we ever wrote as a band to the very newest songs that we've written as a band and kind of some zombie stuff, some Death Throne stuff we haven't played in a long time, like a couple of things off Plagues we haven't done in a long time. So it's kind of full career spanning. Yeah.
Anything I feel like 818 or Transit Blues?
There's no 818. My fiance was kind of mad about that. She likes that record and nothing on Transit Blues. So maybe we'll have to do like a round two and see what we can do with that.
It's hard to believe it's already been a year since the Metalcore Dropouts tour with Fit for a King. Like that seemed like 6 months ago, maybe, but you actually did two legs with those guys, right?
We did, yeah. It was awesome. Them and counterparts, and Brendan and I are really close friends, so that was really fun to be on tour together every day with those guys. So, yeah, I know, man. We're busy. We just keep rolling.
Well, it's funny you brought up the 20th anniversary thing, and I was certainly going to bring that up. So the philosophy is not to look too far in the rearview mirror to keep plowing ahead. Does that mean we're working on new music then, a follow up to Color Decay?
We are definitely. I mean, it's been about 2 years since we put it out, but we've been working on that record for a couple of years since before then. So we're really busy, like too busy. We've kind of spent like every single moment that we're not on tour going out to California and like renting some studios and writing a bunch of stuff. So we're sitting on a big pile of stuff, but we'll definitely not put anything out until next year. I didn't really want to cloud up the set with like trying to put out a new song and stuff, but I would say this tour and our European tour coming up are probably the tail end of the Color Decay era, and then we're gonna push forward from there.
And an album. We still believe in the album philosophy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude, I'm old school, man. I still like records.
Well, just checking. I mean, you don't want to look in the rearview mirror on 20 years. So I didn't know if a philosophy there's a whole philosophy shift on last couple of EPs, zombie EP and stuff. So I wasn't sure if we're trending towards EPs nowadays because a lot of bands are doing the EP instead of the full length.
Yeah, you know what? A couple years ago, I had a bunch of people telling me like the record is dead. It's all about singles now. It's all about short form. And then a bunch of my friends in other bands have just kept putting out records, and we've kept putting out records. And I'm like, I don't think the suits really know what's going on. I think the fans and the bands definitely know what's going on. And I think people just, especially with like physical media and putting an LP on and listening to it, like there's just something about just from start to finish a really well curated track listing and that sets the vibe that I don't think we'll ever go away from. I like doing the EPs, but that's more just, you know, 65 minutes of a concept, you're kind of like on track 8, like, oh my God, we get it, dude. You're blowing up zombies. Like, chill.
I love Zombie too, man. That was a great EP.
Thank you. We'll do a third one day, but we're not, I don't think we're ready yet.
That's the closest that you'll ever come to like a concept record, right?
Yeah, we did the space one too, and that was kind of fun. There's some like alien stuff on there, but we talked about doing like a cowboy one, but it seemed kind of hokey, but who knows?
I want to see you and Mike and some chaps and stuff riding around on
Yeah,
horses.
straight up. Yeah, straight up.
Is there any sort of theme or direction for the new material that you've been working on so far? Does it feel like anything, or is it just kind of the
Um,
next batch of songs up?
yeah, so I think we all particularly like Mike and myself, and John, our keyboard player, that we write all the lyrics. And I think we all were like, man, I'm in like a really good headspace. My life's really good. I'm feeling great. Like we've had a lot of great tours. My relationship's awesome. And then we started writing and it was like, oh man, this is like so depressing and so like soul crushing. And so I think there's just these little like demons lurking in there that come out when you put the pen down and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was in there.
See, I was thinking it was going to be like a happy, positive Prada album.
No, no way. I think sonically, maybe I want it a little more upbeat, but it's kind of like a pop song that just destroys your life type of thing. So with some breakdowns, you can't get away from the breakdowns.
Of course, of course. And the thing I loved about Color Decay that I feel like you guys kind of really stumbled upon. I love hearing your voice and Mike's voice, but the both of them together is really,
Mm.
really cool. And that was all over Color Decay, and it was cool to kind of express both emotions at the same time. The light and the dark. And I hope there's more of that on the new stuff coming.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be like the whole thing, I think. I think it's like really weird that we just happen to be in the same area as teens and meet, and for some reason the harmonic quality of both of our voices just works really well together. There's just something there.
Yeah, and usually bands, especially in metalcore, it's like the verse is dirty and then the chorus is clean. I love them both at the same time. Like
Sure.
it's thick like that.
Yeah, he's such a phenomenal vocalist. I feel seriously like so stoked that I've been able to do every single thing I've done in this band with him from start to finish. And it's like, you know, um, he'll always say, he's like, yo, if you just want to take this one, go ahead. I don't care. And I'm like, nah, bro, you got to be in there. Like it doesn't have any weight without you behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I tell him it all the time. Every time I talk to him, I think he's got the sickest scream. Like I feel like it's not only the knife going in, but the knife being turned at the same time when he screams. Like that's how painful it sounds. Like that's how much he emotes in those screams.
Yeah, we went out there to Vegas and did that like when we were young festival, and we
Mhm.
played our old record Plagues from like '07, and just kind of looking across the stage at him, seeing him sing those songs again, I was like, oh man, this is something real. You don't see this every day. So it was cool.
Since you did the Plagues tour already, or the Plagues album at the When We Were Young Fest, is that something you might think of it when 27 rolls around, doing that one in its entirety?
Yeah, I think I really was like, all right, everybody, let's just learn this and let's go do it. And it'll be a fun fest. We'll see all our friends. And then, we had like 10,000 people like killing each other to it. And I was like, well, I feel like we have to do a tour now at some point. So I don't know when that's going to be, but yeah, it's definitely something it's another spinning plate to add to our whole collection we've got going right now.
That's good to hear from the artist perspective that doing that show, you kind of realize, hey, maybe there is some more weight to this. Like recently saw Treyu, and they were there too, doing the Curse in its entirety, and they did a hometown show at House of Blues at Anaheim, doing that album in its entirety. And afterwards, talking to Dan Jacobs, he's like, "Man, I didn't realize how important this was for people." How important it was for the fans to hear an album like that in its entirety. And I'm glad that you saw that with Plagues too, because I think that would be the one to do.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like we had us and August Burns Red and Treyu and Silverstein and A Day to Remember and Under Oath, and like for all of us, like we I feel like we really created a scene during the Warped Tour era of like this stuff magnifying bigger than it had ever been. And it was cool to be able to go back and play those albums that brought that on and like hear not just ours, but like everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, like I love this record. I forgot how much I love, the deep cuts on this record.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like a cultural moment. It was crazy.
I love hearing, especially hearing it all in sequence, like you do, bumping the CD back in the
Mm-hmm.
day. It's so important. I'm glad to hear that there's some more of that coming. And last couple of things, man, you had touched upon it. Your fiance, you and Emma, and I'm always curious, man, with these like metal couples, who made the first move? Because I imagine you guys met on the road, right? Who
Yeah,
made the
it was
first
kind
move?
of accidental. I mean, we had met on that tour and became just really good friends and ended up hanging out every day together. And then it was like one day it was like, I think we might be in love, And so
Really?
yeah, and so after the tour, yeah, I was like, let's just see what happens. And then here we are, we're engaged and ready to get married. So you got to chase your heart, when you know, you know.
You just felt that connection immediately.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's like the best person I've ever met in my life. I have so much respect for her, and she's just the best, man. She's so hardworking. I've never met anyone as hardworking as she is.
I'm shocked, utterly shocked that you guys haven't done a song together or a duet or something. Like how has there not been any writing together yet?
I know. Well, never say never. So, never say never.
Okay, maybe something brewing then. I
Yeah.
figured that would have come out long ago. It's funny you mentioned the recent engagement, which congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I just talked to Emma. God, has it been a year? Almost a year when you guys went on the Headbangers boat.
Oh yeah.
Became a God one, and my friends Ro and Bick got married on the ship. Had the big wedding that Randy did the proceedings for, and I was
Oh.
curious. Are you thinking of some sort of rock and roll wedding like that, or are you gonna keep it low key?
No, we're gonna get married like out in Oregon. Like she's from out there and all her family's out there. So all my family's gonna come. I don't think it'll be a rock and roll theme, but it's like the guest list is pretty like metalcore star studded, if you will. So it should be quite the hedonistic experience, I'm sure. I'm like looking at some of these names, I'm like, oh no, this is like the backstage from somewhere. It's crazy.
Are you gonna have anyone special do the ceremony, like like they had Randy Bly? Are you gonna have anyone in particular, or just a regular
We
priest?
have somebody cool we know, but I'm not gonna say. I'll let everybody find out if
Uh,
we ever put anything up on it. Yeah.
do we have the date public yet, or is there a time frame?
No, not yet. Yeah, no, not yet. It'll be
Okay.
next year though. So
Okay. Well, congratulations, and
thank you.
my advice, man, in getting married, pick one thing that you're super passionate about, and then let her plan the rest. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
fair.
Stick to your
She's a
guns on
Virgo
one
too,
thing.
so she's already on that.
Uh,
She's all over it.
I'm sure she's making every which plan, every which way. But that's why you got to do the one thing so she knows that you care. You can't just, like,
Yeah.
oh, you let me plan the whole thing. No, no, no. Remember the color? I had to have the color blue in there.
Yep.
Remember?
I'm gonna take that to heart. I'm gonna take that to heart.
That's my advice to you, man. Hey, Jeremy, I appreciate all the time. Last thing I wanted to hit you with, man. We're an old school radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica every night at 10 p.m., which you're
Mm.
a part of. I'm sure you grew up on the Metallica records, and I've been having this little Metallica debate. My buddy and I debating their greatest album ever, and coming down on opposing sides. So I wanted to get your take on this debate: Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets. If you had,
Ride the Lightning all day. Yeah,
ooh,
that is. I had it on cassette tape. That's one of the reasons I play guitar. So for me, it's
really
that. Yeah.
Ride the Lightning, bam! You didn't even have to think about it. No debate. It was right all the way.
Even if you gave me other options, I was gonna say Ride the Lightning. That's just
Really?
something about that entire record. Is like that's. I don't even know if it's their best. It's just to me, it's their best. Yeah, I love Master Puppets too, but
Yeah, see, for me, I fall on the master side because I just think that thing's perfection from start to finish.
it is. It is. It's just like it's that nostalgia tinge that gets you. It just triggers those 13-year-old like smoking out of like a Dr. Pepper can. Like maybe I like this metal stuff. This is cool.
And skateboarding, I imagine too, while
Yeah,
listening to
big
Ride the
time.
Lightning.
Yep. Yeah.
Is there a particular tune from Ride the Lightning or any Metallica song we can play from
For whom the bell tolls, got to be, yeah. So
stick with Ride the Lightning, man.
yeah, exactly.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time. Always a blast to talk to you, and I'll see you at the House of Blues Anaheim.
Hell yes, brother. Let's get a beer or something.
Yeah, I'd love that, man.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
See you out there.